is Heather, and I am the owner of SeaShellsBlessings on eBay. I also have Instagram, SeaShellsBlessings. I wanted to finally, since we got a YouTube channel up, I wanted to make some educational videos, so to say. Obviously, everything is my opinion only, so you know, others have other ways of doing things, but I'm going to share with you guys my way of doing things. But I want to start out by telling you a little bit about myself, and we can go from there. As a kid, I was very nervous all the time, and I was scared of the dark. Obviously, there's a lot of people out there who are the same way. I had received a little clown for my birthday, and that thing just drove me insane. And any chance I got to try and get rid of this thing, my mom would always find it and she would just return it to its shelf. And this went on for a long time, but that thing, I feel, was just so dark. I have no idea what had attached to it. Through my childhood, my family would say that I was a little crazy because I was seeing things and hearing things and being afraid of things that they could not see. I didn't understand it myself, and I just kind of thought I was, you know, a little eccentric, and thought I was a little crazy too, because back in the early 90s, they didn't talk about ghosts or spirits. Back in the 90s, it was your cult classics, Nightmares on Elm Street, Child's Play, you know it, I know it. And they would just attribute it to me watching those videos with my grandmother or whoever was watching them, that I was just having dreams of what was in the video. And I just agreed, you know, I didn't know any better. Even as an adult, sometimes the dark scared me for a long time. I don't think it's something that you ever really get over, and I never thought I would. I would be here in my home sometimes when my husband would be working at night, and I would just be so terrified to stay here. I'd practically leave every light in the house on, and never understood it. My husband and my oldest son made a trip to Gettysburg twice, and I knew I had to be alone the whole weekend with my other two children, and I was just a basket of nerves. And I'm the first to admit it. You know, I never thought of anything. I always, even into my 40s, I guess, the thought of just having a nightmare, was just a remembrance of something that I talked about or something that I watched, and that was that. On my right around my 40th birthday, I found out that my husband had purchased a haunted doll. And when I realized that and he told me, I was ready to say, just get this thing out of my house. I don't want it here. So some time went on, he brought it upstairs and he was trying to communicate with it, and it really didn't move the pendulum very well. And I'm like, oh yeah, haunted doll, okay, sure, whatever you say. So he went to work that night, and I got very curious, and I picked up the doll and the pendulum and the mat, and I sat down and just started asking questions. I had done everything that he told me, and to my surprise, this pendulum just started to move. And like I said, to my surprise. So not long after that, I started to have visions, and I would ask the spirit if it was true. Like, I would have visions of her life, and again, to my surprise, a lot of times the answers was yes. So of course it made me really want to dive in. You know, this is something new, this is something kind of exciting for me. It's taken away that scary part in my life, and it's kind of adding something more positive to my life. Like, yes, spirits and ghosts, or whatever you want to call them, do exist. And I was just ready to see where this new adventure would take me. I adopted my first haunted doll for myself that year for my 40th birthday, and I got her from Haunted Hoonies, who's also on Instagram. and she became a very good friend of mine. And the day that Casey came, Casey was the spirit of a little girl who was a year old. And as a mom, I was done having children by then, and I kind of missed the whole baby thing and wanted to give this little girl home. And I just thought, okay, let's do this. Well, she came on my 40th birthday, and that day I put her in the house. I said to him, what do I do? You welcome a spirit with a candle, little incense, talk to them. I was brand new to this. So that was fine. We had to run to the bank not long after she arrived, and I was nervous. I said, I really don't want to take her in the car because I'm still new to this. This is just a little scary yet. And I left her here, and as I went and I sat in the car waiting for my husband, it was in my car, which his car was parked in front of mine, and all of a sudden I'm just sitting there and his hazard lights turn on. Okay, I'm like, oh boy, this is not good. Nobody was in the car was locked. The hazard lights are ones that are pushed in with your finger. So I thought, oh boy. So I got out of the car and I said to him, you need to come outside. I said, your hazard lights are on. So as I did this, my youngest son said, ooh, mommy, ooh, look, don't be afraid. My two youngest have disabilities. My youngest son, Robert, has Down syndrome, and my daughter is autistic. And I'm like, oh boy, this is just something. So my husband unlocked his car, and he got in and he turned off the lights. He's like, oh, this is interesting, So we get into the car and we go to the bank. And on the way back, my youngest son once again says, oh, mommy, here, he wants to sit with you. And I'm like, oh boy, because he's pretty much nonverbal. So I was a little nervous, obviously. Anyway, I'm like humoring him. Once we came home, my husband went to work. My sister-in-law stopped by, and I introduced her to Casey. She's very open-minded, and I love her about it. She didn't think I was wacky or crazy or anything like that. And I introduced her to Casey, and I brought Casey in, and I'm just sitting around because he went into work second shift. And all of a sudden, the lights started to flicker, and I walked out into my living room, and outside it looked like a cyclone was going through. It was raining so hard and storming, and where I live, we don't usually get bad weather per se. There's no tornadoes, there's no hurricanes. We occasionally get, tropical storm remnants, but we're inland, so all of a sudden the lights went out and I start to panic. My oldest son kind of held me together because I don't like the dark, and I didn't have anything prepared for this uncalled for storm. So as time went on that night, I went outside and seen that there were tree limbs down, and part of my siding because it came off, and I got really nervous, obviously, because nothing like this happens around here. So anyway, a microburst, let's just say, came through the neighborhood. And the next day, I messaged Haunted Honies, and I said, I don't know if I could do this. All these weird things happened yesterday. I don't know if I'm comfortable. And she agreed, and she said, give it a try for a few more days, see how it goes, and we can go from there. Which I love her as a seller because she really inspired me to be the seller that I am. She is very calm and confident, and that really helped me. And 2 days later went by, and I couldn't imagine my life without Casey from then. So from Casey, I adopted Mandy, and I adopted Tyler, and I adopted Linny Binny. And my gift that I think has been hidden all my life just started to grow. I started to work with these spirits. I started to use the pendulum. I went from the pendulum to dowsing rods, or to both. And, I had no recorders or anything, so I would use my phone. And I would do sessions with them and look back at the footage and that's where I would catch some of my EVPs. I really didn't have any fancy, expensive things to work with. So that's how I started. So a few months went by and I purchased Maggie, who everybody knows about. Maggie is a spirit guide, and I couldn't imagine my life without her. She never steers me in the wrong way. So, you know, from there and getting to know everybody and realizing that, yes, I guess I do have a gift, I decided to open Seashells Blessings that February. And obviously, I don't know if you could tell, I'm kind of a nervous person and I have a lot of anxiety. So, of course, starting something new was not one of my favorite things to do. So, you know, I just gave it a whirl, and never did I think it would turn out to be what it is today even. We are going on 2 years in February of the store actually running, and we have sold almost 1,200 items, I believe. The feedback is really good. You know, I'm that kind of nervous person who always waits for that bad one. But, you know, I feel that if I offer my customers guidance and support and talk them through different ideas like Haunted Hoonies did for me, that, you know, I'm just going to do my best at this and give it everything I got, because this has now been my baby for almost 2 years. And, you know, some days there are days where you're just, you know, you're really unconfident, chalk it up to a bad day kind of thing. And other days are just so rewardful and fulfilling that I couldn't imagine my life without it. So, you know, I picked Seashell Blessings. I had a question, well, why did you pick that name? On my Instagram, I had asked for a few days for any of my followers to give me some ideas of things that they would like to learn about from these videos. And I had a ton of questions. So I'm going to be covering all of those for you guys. And the first one, like I said, since it kind of fits into my about me, is why the name Seashells Blessings. Well, first of all, I absolutely love Cape Hatteras, North Carolina. That is my place. That beach means probably as much to me as my family. And, you know, if I ever get rich enough, I'm going to go live there. That's my goal for this, right? But I absolutely love everything about the beach. I love the sand. I love the sun. I love the rush of the water. When I stand in the sand, I just feel like a completely different person. It gives me such emotional strength and willpower, and it just rejuvenates my whole sense of being. And so that's how I chose Seashells Blessings, because I absolutely love collecting seashells when we go. So that was what inspired it, and Blessings because this has been such a blessing to me that I actually can be who I am and who I was always supposed to be, who I was always afraid of being, who I was just told that I was just a kid with a good imagination. You know, that's how this all came to be. There are many challenges, as I said, about running a store. This is probably the first time that you guys seen me on camera. Maybe this may be the 4th or 5th, if that. I don't like being on camera. So this is very out of my comfort zone, but I really feel like this is absolutely worth it. Because I have such a passion for what I do and what I'm able to do. Sorry. So yeah, my plans for this year are to try and help more spirits, more people. Anything I say in this whole little documentary, or whatever you want to call it, is my opinion of mine alone. I don't claim to know everything. I don't claim to be the smartest. I don't claim that other sellers or people who do this are wrong. This is just from my perspective, and this is mine. So I hope you follow with me through this little journey, and you'll be willing to hear some of my thoughts and some of the questions that I got. Like I said, I don't claim to know everything, but I think I have a little bit of a handle on a lot of things. I've been able to get to 3 different haunted places that I think are absolutely amazing since I started doing this. And I want to talk to you guys about them as well, because there's one really favorite place of mine that I got to visit twice in 2023 that I'm going to be talking about first. And if you guys ever get a chance to go there, do it, because if you love the supernatural, if you love spirit keeping, if you love haunted things, you're gonna want to go visit her and her business. It's just amazing. Her and her partner have been very nice to us, and have really became part of our family, I think, as well, because they've been so kind and letting us investigate there. I don't even call it investigate. I just went there and I got to talk to the spirits. Let's just say that. Investigating and me, I just feel like it's on more of a personal level for me, all this stuff, than anything official. So I hope you'll stay with me. I hope to plan to make some even more videos. If you guys like it, please subscribe and like. I don't know how all that works because I'm brand new to YouTube, but I'm not doing it for all that. I'm just doing it because I want to give some people who might be interested in doing this a little bit of a background before you get to do it, because not everybody is meant to do this, and I feel that way. But like I said, that's my opinion, and if you stick with me, let's see what we can do. So thank you guys.